Hello everyone, and welcome to Everything Explained. I'm your host, and today we're turning our eyes upward to answer a question that sounds simple but is surprisingly complex. How many satellites are out there in the skies? The short answer is, a lot, and the number is growing fast. The longer answer involves a mix of tech specs, math, and a dash of science fiction, because we're building a library of moving, human-made objects that now covers a huge swath of near-Earth space. First, a quick map of the different kinds of things up there. We talk about satellites, machines built to orbit and do something for us, plus the scraps of old missions we call space debris. When people say how many satellites are there, they usually mean active satellites, but the sky also contains a lot of junk that can still move around Earth for years or decades. So the numbers you hear depend on what you're counting. Estimates published in recent years place the number of actively operating satellites somewhere in the low thousands. A commonly cited range is about 3,000 to 6,000 active satellites today. Starlink, OneWeb, and other megaconstellations are driving that higher, because they want thousands of little satellites sharing a signal down to every corner of the planet. In contrast, there are many more objects that are no longer functioning but still up there: defunct satellites, spent rocket stages, and pieces broken off in collisions or explosions. When you add all of that up, the total population of objects in near-Earth orbit is counted in tens of thousands by space surveillance networks. Now, where are these things? There are three main neighborhoods in Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit, or LEO, is the busiest zone for modern communications and Earth observation. It's roughly from about 160 kilometers to 2,000 kilometers up. In this zone you'll find Starlink and OneWeb satellites zipping around at high speed, sometimes visible as a string of bright points moving across the sky. Then there's Medium Earth Orbit, or MIU, home to navigation satellites that help your phone figure out where you are. And finally, Geostationary Orbit, or GEO, sits out at about 35,786 kilometers up. Satellites there hang over one spot on Earth, which is perfect for stable communications and broadcast. There are a few hundred satellites in GEO, a few thousand in MIU, and there are many more in the busy swath of LEO. What do they do for us? A lot. The practical benefits include fast internet in rural areas, GPS that guides our cars and phones, weather forecasting, and Earth observation that helps scientists monitor climate and disasters. Think of it as a global network of working machines that keep our world connected and informed. But with more machines in the sky comes more traffic. The space surveillance networks track thousands of pieces of debris, from as big as a bus to tiny flecks of paint. A collision could generate more debris, which could force more maneuvers and potentially make some orbits unusable. A scenario known as the Kessler syndrome. That's why operators practice end-of-life disposal, move satellites to safe orbits at the end of their life, and why space agencies set rules to minimize debris. Bright trails in the night sky are another concern for astronomers. The many Starlink satellites have drawn attention because they can turn a dark sky into a highway of moving points. Companies have started to test coatings and adaptive brightness rules to cut glare and make observations easier. It's a good example of the balancing act. We want the benefits of global connectivity, but we also want to preserve the beauty of the night sky and protect science. So what does the future hold? More satellites, especially in LEO, to deliver broadband and sensing. That means more traffic and more responsibly managed orbits. It also means clearer rules about disposal, collision avoidance, and even how bright satellites can be. International bodies, national space agencies, and the companies themselves are working on space traffic management and debris mitigation, so the heavens don't get crowded beyond repair. In short, there isn't a single magic number you can pin down, because the sky is a living, changing system. But the picture is this: thousands of satellites are up there today, with many more planned for tomorrow. If you look up on a clear night, you might see a few faint moving lights, tiny reflectors in a vast, busy highway above us. They're a sign of a connected, data-driven world, and a reminder that when we push forward with technology, we also share responsibility for the space around us. The sky is a shared library of human effort. Let's keep it clean.